Hey, Jenny, it's Jupiter. It's our old friend Jupiter.
Yeah, Jupiter's real great.
They usually make Picross games.
Yeah, that's why they're so great.
This is not a Picross game at all, though.
Oh.
It's. I'm not going to say it's almost as good as a Picross game, because really, frankly, that's unattainable. But in the world of games that aren't Picross, this is a pretty cool game.
Yeah. I mean, this is strategic.
Recognized any of these characters yet?
I do. I mean, that one looks like he might be from Tales of Graces, and,
Yep.
that one might be from Tales of Symphonia.
You are right about most of that.
Yeah, I mean, they look like there's a lot of tales have been told here.
Yeah, like a whole world of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is Tales of the World, Reve Unitia. Yeah. Most of the Tales spin-off games we don't get. So we got Radiant Mythology, the first Radiant Mythology. I think that's maybe it.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, I mean, to be fair, Tales of Symphonia Dawn of the New World was retroactively made a spin-off game. So there's that. I guess we got that game. But no, generally we don't get these. And there are a lot of cool sort of experiments to the formula. But yeah, we can... I mean, yeah, these anime intros are... Let's be clear, you're not coming to this game for the story. But also, like, you're not coming to any Tales game for the story.
Yeah, you're coming because the battles are a lot of fun, especially if you can have somebody join you.
Yeah, and, like, maybe you like the character interactions, right? Like,
Yeah.
the overarching plot usually makes no sense whatsoever. But the conversations between them are interesting, and this lets you have conversations between characters of completely different worlds, which would matter if you cared about the story. But, yeah, so this is a sort of tactical approach to the Tales gameplay, and it's an expanded port of a mobile game, but it really doesn't feel like a mobile game. It is very quest based. It doesn't feel like a coherent sort of narrative, but like it doesn't feel like there's content missing or that it's nagging you for anything. But yeah,
It was something I was looking at, and what do you think? Like, I've been seeing prices for this going around $15. Would you say it's worth it for that?
I mean I paid more than that for it.
Oh,
I mean not much more, like 25, something like that. No, but it's. I don't think we're going to get it at all, and I think it's perfectly playable once you learn the interface in English. So like, just I think it's worth it. If you can import 3DS games, then this is a pretty good one to pick.
it seems like it. Now, how difficult is it for somebody to play?
So I mean, well, we can go ahead and show you, right?
Right.
So we'll just go back to something a little easier, just to kind of show the game here, and not the most recent thing I've done. So you choose one of two paths, right? Which basically just determines which characters you get at which times. You eventually, I think, can get all of them in one save file, but in one you start with Lloyd and Asbel, and then there's the other side that kind of uses other protagonists, right?
Yes.
But there's some people here you might recognize, and then some people here you certainly won't recognize.
So I'm just guessing, since you went with the one that gives you Asbel and Lloyd, that you prefer Symphonia and Graces.
Uh, that's difficult to say, because I mean, Xillia I think is my favorite Tales game at this point, but the other one included oh gosh, blanking, the Vesperia protagonist. What's his name?
Yuri?
Yuri. It was Yuri, and I think one of the Japan-only protagonists were like the main ones there. And I'm not a
Maybe
big
Gaius?
Vesperia guy, so I like Graces a lot, and I grew up on Symphonia, but it was one of those things where I just knew this side a little better, and so I went with that. And then of course you can get, I like Rita a lot from Vesperia, so I have Rita over here, so. Yeah, I mean, at this point, I've gotten a pretty decent selection of people, and yeah. So let's pick some sort of a nice mix of characters. Let's let's go Lloyd because everybody loves Lloyd.
Okay, I think you should put Milia too.
Yeah, Mila should
Mila,
definitely join us. I'm gonna go with Rita, and this battle I get 5 to pick. So under no circumstances picking Luke. I do not like Luke. Now we go with Mila.
Do you have anybody from Tales of Destiny?
Do I? There's Destiny 2. Destiny. I have Leon.
Oh, you should use Leon. That was my first Tales.
Okay, we could do that. And yeah, so round out the party here, we got. Let's pick somebody weird. How about the protagonist of Tales of Rebirth?
Okay, that's
which is,
pretty weird.
you know, a game we may play at some point. Because I do have that game. That's like the last 2D Tales. It was like made after Symphonia. There were kind of 2 Tales teams going at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. We can... It's important to see the stat screen here for this game. So you can kind of set where people stand in here, but I think we're fine.
Mm-hmm.
So each of these matches are kind of played on this map. You know, you have a range of movement, and you know, each arena kind of has its little challenge. You know.
Yeah.
Some of them even have like multi-stage things, like you beat everyone and then a whole bunch of new enemies respawn. So you have your basic attack that can do a range of 1.
Yeah.
You have arts because it's a Tales game. And generally, like, you know what these do, right? Like, Grave will be a come up from the ground thing. But magic actually takes a while to cast. So I think that's one of the interesting things there. So Lloyd up.
That's kind of a nice carryover from the original series.
Yeah. I mean, that's, I think, like... It's still a Tales game in a lot of ways, and I think that's part of what's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, Mila's going to advance here. Mila doesn't have much in the way of long-distance attacks either. You know, like, decent length, but can't reach anyone.
Yeah, but she's cool, so...
She could use an item, like, you know, apple gel, orange gel, lemon gel. You know, it's, again, like... If you've played Tales games, you can kind of get through this interface by being like, oh, right, this is a life bottle, you know? I don't know. I appreciate that part of it.
Yeah. It's familiar. It's comforting.
Yeah. All right, Rita. We have a pretty balanced squad here.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to do pretty well. I think you can handle this.
Then, you know, it's one of those games where it's not your turn and their turn. There's a movement priority list.
Did you hear that there was a trademark filed for Tales of Link?
I saw that in Europe,
yeah.
Which is, well...
kind of heartbreaking, isn't it?
Well, I mean, we'll see. We'll see if that... You know, if we end up getting a Tales game, but we get, like, a really bad mobile Tales game, I don't know. Like, I appreciate them trying to release more Tales games.
Yeah.
But
it just kind of hurts because they have this, which looks like it's a lot of fun. Looks like it's really cool.
It is.
Yeah. And
I would even understand if they just wanted to release the mobile version of this game, right? Like, if that's where they wanted to go with it, then I'd understand, because I know... You know, Bandai Namco's found some success on mobile. But, you know, it's a lot of damage. I can kill any of those. I'm going to kill that one. I'm going to move Mila up. Wait, what element do you think Mila should take him down with?
How about fire?
Well, we don't have the range on that.
Oh, we don't? Oh, okay.
So we could splash him, or we could...
splash him.
Okay. That's going to be 400 damage, 392. Yeah, I mean, obviously they're, like, plant monsters, so it's not going to totally kill them, but...
Yeah.
nothing we did was going to do that. And then Rita's basically going to stay here for the rest of the match. Rita's going to launch. Now Rita can fireball, and fireball is totally what we need here, so we're going to do it.
I like the character designs too. It looks very nice.
Yeah. I mean, it feels like Tales, you know, which I think is not necessarily a given with this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The characters don't look totally out of place in the same world, even though they are, you know, they have different art styles.
Yeah.
They kind of pasteled everyone up a little bit.
No, it was always disappointing. We never got the Narikuri Dungeon series.
Yeah, I will say this is a more accessible title than those.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think we could have gotten this one, still could get this one.
Yeah.
Though, as you mentioned, it sold pretty poorly, and as a result, was cheap for people to get.
Yeah, we're not going to see this one.
Probably not, which is too bad because it's fun. There's a lot of gameplay in here too. You know, for that amount of money, and I mean, admittedly, you have to have a way to import this stuff, but there are lots of easy ways these days.
Yeah, I mean, there's.
Should
lots
Leon
of
go
options.
over limit?
Yeah.
Okay. So you can have like occasionally a character can go over limit, and that means like for the rest of the battle they're awesome. Like
You mean they're not awesome normally?
Well, not Tales of Destiny characters.
I mean, Tales of Destiny, it wasn't that bad. The whole Swordian thing was kind of weird, but...
I mean, they have their moments, but that's not always.
Yeah.
Alright.
It's one of those things where if that was your first, you're gonna love it.
And so yeah, so there's spells that you have to cast, but also like there are arts, right? Like there's like Demon Fang, which you can get slightly further away from people and send at them, but it's not, you don't have to charge it. So in a way, like even though it's turn-based, grid-based combat, like you're thinking in the ways you would think when you play a normal Tales game, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah. What was your first Tales?
My first Tales was Symphonia.
Okay.
I was a Nintendo kid, so that's just how that goes. But, you know, I've since played a lot of them. Like, for some reason, I played Rebirth. I was searching for a good PS2 Tales game. I'd played Abyss and Legendia, and so I eliminated those two as possible good games. So I had to import one. Rebirth is interesting. Like, if you like the PlayStation era stuff,
Yeah.
you know, then like you might like it.
Okay.
It's that kind of game.
I really didn't think Abyss was that bad. I really kind of enjoyed it.
It's so Luke is the worst character.
Oh, he is. He's the worst. But
That's why that's not good. It's because Luke is in it.
but Tyr is pretty good, and so was Jade.
Right, but you can't not have Luke. So
Okay, so Luke just it ruined everything.
yeah,
Okay.
I don't mean that game. I mean Luke ruined everything. All things. If there's something in your life that is not perfect, Luke from Tales of the Abyss is the sole cause.
Do you think maybe that's why this didn't get localized because Luke is in it?
Well, we got that Tales of the Abyss 3DS port for some reason.
Yeah.
That's the one Tales game that has been localized on 3DS, so it's hard to say.
Maybe that's why we haven't gotten any more.
Maybe. I don't know. From what I heard, that sold okay.
Yeah.
They didn't make a lot. They didn't plan on it being that successful, so it's hard to say.
I think what helped is nostalgia value.
Yeah. Alright. There's a lot of just... I did a good job killing those people. I'm a little over leveled for this battle, so the time it takes to beat someone is a little less than what it normally would be.
Sure.
Alright.
I'm kind of disappointed we never got Tales of Innocence.
Yeah. I mean... Tales of Innocence was not as good as Tales of Hearts, and Tales of
Yeah.
Hearts R is the best version of Tales of Hearts, and still it's not great.
Yeah.
So I think I'm okay not having Innocence. Yeah, all right. So this guy's got 2,500 hit points. This is a golem. It's crazy. So we're gonna have some time here.
Well, you're still doing pretty good against him.
Yeah. No. Again, I have pretty leveled up characters here.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rebirth guy has no ranged.
It's kind of like you just brought him along so you could just bring him. Like, he
Yeah.
hasn't really done much, you know?
Which is similar to the reason that I imported Rebirth, so... Alright. Mila's gonna take him out, so...
Yeah.
See, at the end, there's the Tails victory music.
Yeah. That nice fanfare.
Look at all the level ups. You know, it really encourages you to kind of go for numbers. You see the bottom screen; it's like all the records all at once.
Yeah. Well, they all kind of do
interesting.
that.
Yeah, but like every time you save, which is at the end of every battle, it shows you all of your like lifetime gold accrued stat. Like, it's really pushing you toward that stuff. So yeah, there's a lot of options here. We won't do any more battles or anything, but like, you can kind of go in here and like equip skills to your characters. They level up, and you can kind of customize them in that way. Like, here's a character from Tales of the Tempest. You can see their stars in here. I've been paying SP to boost certain stats and things like that. So since she's a mage, I'm putting magical, basically giving more AP and giving more magic power and that sort of stuff to her. But for example, we go down. Who did we not bring along? Emil, sad little Emil. Who deserves to be sad. Sorry, Emil, you're not a good character.
No.
But Emil has really good dexterity, so like there's a high crit and that kind of thing. So you can kind of push them one way or the other, and that's kind of nice. You can't delete Luke, so in that way, this is a failure of a product.
Okay.
But,
Now, I got a question, though. Did you actually import Tales of the Tempest?
I didn't because I heard it was really bad.
Okay.
Yeah, but here's the thing: there's a translation patch, so I mean, you might come back to the site in a year, and we'll be like, "Well, what do we cover now?" Like, well, I guess I'll import Tales of the Tempest, and then I'll just like, there'll be this video where I'm just kind of dead inside, and I'm like, "Hey, hello, Jenny, we're playing Tales of the Tempest." So yeah, you make sure support us on Patreon and like, comment, subscribe.
Die inside.
Yeah, if you keep us alive long enough for me to feel like a soulless husk of a human being, then you get to view that, you masochist. Be a masochist. Support us on Patreon. Is that am I doing a good job promoting the?
Maybe. I don't know. I think they might.
Maybe I'll just leave that to you. I'll let you
maybe
do the
they might like
promotion.
it better if I played something like Emo Alpaca, or if I played one of those X-Plays games.
As long as I don't have to watch.
Yeah, nobody wants to watch that.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, you can buy stuff. There's a lot of cool stuff in here you can do. But yeah, just maybe check it out. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it looks like it's a good game.
Yeah. Thanks, Jenny.
Yeah, thanks.